taking that extra time to know what their real goals and targets and even their dreams and stuff maybe they might be concerned or even worried about, just so important. And you did a great job on that the other day.
Yeah. So for buyers, I think another mistake buyers are making is that sometimes deals don't always look like deals on the surface, right? So sometimes a buyer's out there looking for a deal, but until they actually dig deep or link up with a real estate professional, they don't realize that there's a deal out there. So I'll give you an example. Prime example is that we had a client, and they came to us and said, "Hey, we want to buy an investment property. We heard there's an investment
know this story
property.
well.
Yeah, we have this investment property that our friend bought in San Francisco, and they bought it for like under 1.1, and it's a solid investment. It's actually not cash flowing, but it's a wash. It's making enough in rents that it's covering the mortgage." And so, we're looking for that. But so that was kind of the hunt that we started to go on and look for things that would just be more of the real estate long game, which
so trying to duplicate or overlay a deal that's already taken place, saying, "Oh, I like that," and the terms, parameters of that. So that's what I want, as if you could go in and
duplicate it.
They're the same product on the same shelf,
right?
Which doesn't happen in real estate.
But I'll tell you though, when you start to look at some properties, sometimes there are people that go and look on. They swipe by a property because they don't think it will bring them a good investment. But in chatting, I actually found, after knowing their wants and needs, was able to start doing a deep dive and look at some properties where I said, actually, this is a great buy. Here's 4 units. And right now it's actually making $1,000 a month and over what the mortgage is if you were to buy this, and it's not at 1.1, and it's local, and you'd be able to manage it yourself, all those types of things. So they're really
take a dozen of those.
Yeah, but there are deals out there, but sometimes they don't always look like deals. And that's the whole point here, is that you have to make sure that you're asking the right questions. But even if you don't know the right questions to ask, if you're partnered with the right agent, they'll make sure that they're asking those questions for you.
That's a good point too, because the question was, what kind of mistakes are buyers making? And sometimes I think that buyers, because we're so used to seeing people come to us, right, and say, "Well, I saw this property,
right?
I saw it on, it was advertised, or somebody told me about it, or whatever."
Yeah.
When some of that can really get lost in the translation, because the thinking is, well, there's 1 or 2 or 3 properties that look good to me, when really they come to a professional who can guide them through that search process.
Right.
And you go from 3 to 30 or 300 or whatever it is. Because a lot of properties these days that I know that we sell are even off market.
Right.
They come and they go before they ever hit the open market. So I guess, how would you frame that? I guess you might say, buyers kind of relying too much on what they see out there in the ether versus building that relationship with a trusted advisor and then working as a team moving forward, which I guess that's really the main thing.
Yeah.
Is like, just, what mistakes do buyers make? And I guess maybe the industry has kind of fueled this of distrust. Maybe I just don't really want to trust. Well, it takes time to build trust. So,
this is not the craziest market that we've ever seen.
Heck no.
Right? Well, especially you. So, I've been doing this almost 10 years, and looking at just where the industry has gone from back then, from around 2017. I feel like the hope was that we'd be getting somewhere to a place like that again, right? And then we had, this is it's
always changing.
This is the thing about it, is that there are factors that you cannot predict.
That's
right. We have really predicted that we were going to be on this steady incline, and then you get into a war. War is something that we don't know which way it's going to affect the industry.
Sure.
Also, same things like economic things, like having refineries pull out of certain states or things like that.
In California, I think all of the refineries they basically have made their exit. So.
I think we're going to see
look out, gas prices.
I know. But you know what? That might be something that people are like, well, that's so negative. But on the positive, it means that, environmentally, we're going in another direction. That is a positive. I can't tell you how many people that I run into from other places that say, well, I don't ever want to live in Benicia or in Rodeo or in Martinez because of a refinery being right there. Granted, they don't realize that in Benicia, they had to spend $1 billion for this filtration system, right? So, I mean, in terms of like being the newer refinery and that kind of thing, but that's a moot point now because they have pulled out of Benicia and you have so many other refineries that I think it's just a matter of time. They're waiting for their exit.
Yeah, they are.
But in that, we have to then say, okay, well, what does that mean then for California? Might mean, yes, that we're going to see some higher gas prices. There's a little more incentive there for you to get electric cars and things like that. Also means environmentally, we're going to have some cleaner air. We're going to have, for people that were worried about pollutants and that kinds of thing. I mean, you can find different pollutants wherever you go.